Welcome to the 2025 FedEx St. Jude Championship at TPC Southwind in Memphis for the start of the 2025 FedEx Cup playoffs. Memphis is home to the iconic Beale Street. The Grizzlies. Great barbecue. And the beautiful TPC Southwind Golf Course. The course recently underwent renovations to 18 of its green complexes, and word on site was they're playing especially firm, fast, and difficult. This week, GolfWRX.com went inside the ropes to find out how players were preparing their gear for the start of the playoffs. First up in the equipment news, this week marked the official launch of Callaway's new Opus SP wedges, which we've seen a bevy of tour players switch to in the last few months. Now, we're finally getting some information on the mysterious prototypes. For that, we spoke to Callaway fitter Johnny Thompson to go in-depth on the new Opus SP wedges.
Tell me about those SP wedges.
Yeah, so yes, you have seen them in guys' bags for probably a month because obviously, tour players is sort of our proving ground for new product. That's where we bring out, new concepts, new prototypes for them to test and give feedback. So when this week at the FedEx, we've launched them officially, but the guys have had them for a month or so as they've worked them in. And yeah, it's been great. I think last week at Wyndham we had 34 SPs in play. So we've had one of the quickest tour adoptions we've ever had in a wedge series. I think a lot of that has to go back to Opus. That was our footprint where we really made a big jump in our wedge design. Dean Takel, all the guys on the truck have spent a lot of time working very closely with some of our staff to develop the shape that they want. The grinds that they want. Dean spent a ton of time with Chris Kirky. He played a big part in getting Opus where we needed it to be. And then now with SP, as we found a new way to even add more spin into the 54 degrees and higher with the new spin pocket. So we were able to raise the CG, and on the slower speed shots, inside 30 yards, you can see a noticeable difference where the balls are launching much lower and maxing out greenside spin. So I think one of the reasons why they were adopted so quickly out on tour was because of that aspect, just around the greens, adding that much more greenside spin. And again, we didn't change the footprint of the sand wedges and lob wedges. They're the same footprint as what Opus was because we had tour validation on that aspect. So we just really ramped them up the spin, and guys have been putting them in and loving them and playing well with them.
What does that SP stand for?
Spin pocket.
Okay.
Yep. So the spin pocket, and depending on the lofts, it's around 25 grams a weight that we save. That then we put it up in the flange, and it hides great. At address position, it looks the same as what Opus did, but the flange is thicker. When you look at the back of the wedge, you can definitely see where the weight has been moved. And just raising that CG and keeping the ball in the face longer. We had a new groove package with the 17-degree pitch has helped a ton because you have to have aggressive grooves with a high CG. They kind of go hand in hand, so it's just keeping the ball in the face longer when compression's not as much involved on a slower swing speed, and grooves are ripping into the ball as it's on the face for a little bit longer, and it's just producing a really cool shots around the greens.
What's it like working with Kurt?
He's one of my favorite, even outside of golf, he's one of my favorite people that I've ever met. I met Chris in 2010 on the Korn Ferry Tour, and I've just always been a fan of him as a human. As a player, he's unbelievable because he's very articulate, and he knows, as they say, he knows ball, he knows golf clubs, and he's been great to work with. His caddy, Michael's one of the best around, so their team in general is great to work with. Chris has amazing hands. He's a very good chipper, he's a very good pitcher, and he's a very good full wedge player. So if you're doing the right things on the wedge design, he'll be a very happy man. And like I said, his first week out last year with Opus, he won his first week with a full bag of Opus. He was one of the first people to adopt it because, again, he worked very close with Dean Takel and R&D to get these things right where they wanted to be. So yeah, Chris he's the best.
And we're here in Memphis. Any changes this week? Has it been a busy week?
Yeah, so Max Grazerman is somebody we've worked very hard with. He'll be putting the 56 and the 60s, kicking out some competitors' wedges, which is great. That's kind of what we like to see. So he'll have a new 56. Hold on, Dean. Dino, Max is 56. That's a 56S, and then the 60 is an X grind, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So yeah, Max is putting in the 56S and the 60 X grind, which is new. We had X grind a couple years ago. We brought it back, so it's at retail as well as out here on tour. And Max found that he brought up this week, new sand. They redid the greens and some parts of the course, but I guess the sand is really heavy, really soft. But then what he found with the X grind is it kind of acted like a W grind out of the bunkers because of all of that massive amount of bounce. But then with the narrower sole, he just felt like he could get into the ground and keep the ball on the face longer on the fuller shots. It's not bouncing as much from the sole width kicking in. So yeah, that X grind is super versatile, and Max has found that it's the best one for him.
Any other big changes we can go out there and check out?
No, because we've kind of had most of the guys have been in the wedges, so there's still a couple guys that are right there that are testing. We're pretty close with a couple guys, so that's kind of a to be continued project. But no, we've had majority of our staff are in full sets of SPs this week, and a couple guys are still in an Opus, maybe one specific loft. But again, it's been a great start. We've been out here for maybe a month, and we have predominant usage, and it's been quick and easy.
Yeah, the quick adoption has been cool to see.
Yeah,
Congratulations
for sure.
on a good launch, and I'll let you get back to it.
All right, we'll see you.
While on the Callaway truck, we also checked out these awesome Odyssey FedEx Cup Playoff beard putter covers. Back out on the course, we looked at the Opus SP wedges in the bags of Chef Minwoo Lee. Thomas Dietrich. And Akshay Bhatia. In other news, a mysterious new Titleist Pro V1X double dot golf ball is making the rounds out on tour after Cam Young debuted the golf ball to win last week's Wyndham Championship. To try and learn more, we caught up with Titleist golf ball expert 40 Pitts to get his perspective.
Yeah, what I can say about it is we did just introduce last week a new golf ball as part of our CPO program, which is our customized performance option. What they are is tour play products where we do things a little bit outside the box to learn things, whether it be something related to the material or the construction of the golf ball, or if it's more a performance attribute that we're trying to evaluate. And really the only way to fully evaluate it is for a player to play it in a tournament. It's to actually game it. I mean, it's nice to hit it on a range and see numbers, but unless a player can actually play it, that's when you're really going to learn what the potential of a product like this may do. So yeah, it's another ball that we again added into our lineup and see where it takes us.
How often do you see a guy switch a golf ball and win that week?
In my career, it's rare. It has happened, but it's rare. I'll just leave it at that.
Have you done some more testing with other guys this week? Do you know anyone that may also switch to it?
And again, we've identified a few guys who would be candidates for this, so we've reached out to them, spoken to them. We have had a couple guys test them, so we'll see if they end up putting them in play.
Awesome. Can you talk just quickly about the process of fitting someone into a new golf ball out on tour?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, its process is similar for any golfer, really. You want to evaluate it in the 3 phases of the game. What's it do in the short game, what's it do in the mid-approach game, and then what's it do in the long game. So where you start, we generally like to start around the greens for those, scoring shots, eventually move back, hit fuller irons, and then evaluate how does that ball match up to the driver the player is using. Because the fitting part of it is really to the wedges and the irons with a golf ball. That's where you make your determination, and then once you've figured out which ball works best for those clubs, you then find the driver that matches up to that golf ball. So again, for the players, in the case of Cam Young, the ball was more plug and play. It just fit him better than his previous ball, and we didn't need to make any adjustments to any of his clubs to make it work. So in a way, that was a little easier. Sometimes you might have to change 2 or 3 clubs to make it work everywhere.
Is Cam fun to work with because of the speed?
Cam's great. Yeah, he's such a nice guy, and he's knowledgeable. He's into the numbers, but at the same time, he's got a great eye, and he's great to work with.
Awesome. Thank you for the time, 40. Appreciate you as always.
Absolutely.
Tony Finau doesn't make a lot of gear changes, but this week we spotted him testing out the double dot golf ball and testing out some different putters too. Then we caught up with the man himself to hear more about the changes.
We saw some putter testing out of you this week. We normally don't see that.
Yeah.
What's the putter you're switching to, and how did that come about?
Yeah, that's a great question. I wish I could tell you exactly the model, but here it is. Still a PLD putter. I've been using a blade for five years, over 5 years straight. The same putter, and just thought it was time for a change. So I wanted to go and look into a mallet, and the Ping guys, KO, Spencer, those guys helped me get into this one.
Cool. Did you do some ball testing too?
I did.
Did you try the double dot?
I did try the double dot. It's incredible.
Yeah?
Yeah, and it's going into play right away.
Is it? You're playing it this week?
I am, yeah.
What did you notice that's different about it?
It has a little bit higher launch and lower spin for me.
Okay.
Which is a perfect combo, especially for me at the moment. I seem to, over the last couple months, to be spinning my driver a little more than I would like, and I've made a shaft change about a month ago, and that's helped, but the spin numbers are still a little high. I switched to this ball, and it's a couple hundred RPMs lower, so without changing equipment, that's a great thing.
What was the shaft change you made?
That's a good question. I'm terrible with knowing equipment, bro.
Okay.
But I went from a Diamana shaft to Ventus.
Okay.
A Ventus black shaft, so.
All right, we'll check it out here in a second.
All right, sounds good.
All right, thanks.
Thanks.
For further insight, we also went on to the Ping truck to speak with Ping putter rep Dylan Goodwin about Finau's putter change.
Tony Finau's used the Answer 2D for a very long time, had multiple wins with that putter. Wanted a little bit of a change last week. Went to an old putter that he's had in the garage for probably 4 or 5 years ago. And then this week kind of came to us and said, hey, what kind of mallet can I get into to try and mix things up? So we brought about 10 different options out with different hosels. He's used something with a little bit of toe hang in the past, and that's kind of worked quite well for him. So we brought some different options with different necks and some different inserts and face options as well. So he was using a putter last week that was quite soft and soft sounding. Didn't quite like that. He felt like he had a little bit of distance control issues, just not being able to hear the impact experience. So gave a couple firmer options for him this week, and then where we ended was an alley blue onset. So he kind of was experimenting with it and was like, what's the benefit to this? And for us, we feel like we're able to have an onset option with some toe hang. So now it matches what his stroke type is. So he's able to have the alignment benefits of the onset now, along with something that matches to his stroke. So he rolled quite a few with it, loved it, felt like the long line of this Alley Blue 4 that goes all the way to the face, he felt like it was really, really easy to line up. And then all he had to do really was just trace the shaft down that line, and he felt like he was making good solid strokes. So making it simple for him with having some now added technology.
So this is the putter that he was working with?
It is, exactly, yeah.
Okay. It looked like you guys had a bunch of putters laid out with a bunch of different grip options and toe hang options. Like, what was he looking at and what was he saying?
Yeah, so again, we started looking at models first, kind of narrowing down just overall looks. Then we went to neck types to try and see how much toe down he likes, whatever matches with the stroke. And then from there we went to face options, make sure that, hey, we still got the speed control that we want, and that's priority. And then we went to grips. So he's got massive hands, ginormous hands. So he has quite a large grip. And so we gave him multiple options, and one we ended up was our PP62. Because the one he had on there was an older type that we don't quite make anymore. So PP62 is where we ended. It's quite a large non-taper grip.
Okay. And when was the last time that you worked with Finau on his putter?
So usually Finau is very happy with our model that he's been using, the Answer 2D. They said he's won multiple times. He's got nice gold putters in our vault. So he doesn't mess a whole lot with the actual putter. Where we do work with Tony is actually more on his loft and lie. So he changes his setup quite often based on what him and his instructor is working on at the time or what he feels comfortable with. Sometimes he'll just show up cross-handed and just be like, hey, I really like how this is set up. And then from there, we kind of make sure that we're getting the proper roll at the end of the day. So whether it's taking off some loft or adding loft, depending on where his hands are at impact.
Awesome. Thank you, Dylan.
Thank you very much.
Then, we stayed right there on the ping truck to talk to Rep Kenton Oats, who told us about a thriver that they fit Mackenzie Hughes into this week.
So we're hearing rumors about a thriver out there. What is a thriver?
It's something that we don't have what the industry would call a mini driver, right? So we don't have that bigger 3-wood head for a secondary option off the tee, but what we do have is 12-degree max drivers that we cut to 43.5 inches, just a half-inch longer. And honestly, the half-inch longer is simply for looks. You cut a shaft down that short on a head that big, and it gets players just feel like it's real short. So do a half-inch longer than your 3-wood. And Mackenzie Hughes this week was looking for something like that. He's like, I don't ever hit my 3-wood around TPC Southwind, and I'm frustrated that I'm not have another secondary club off the tee. So we did a 12-degree max driver, finishes at 13 degrees in the dot setting at 43.5 inches, and no adjustments needed. Spun right around 3,400 every time he hit it, and flew about 280. So exactly what he was looking for.
Okay. Well done.
Yeah, exactly.
You seen anything else this week? Any changes? Any adjustments that you made?
Corey Connors might put in a Blueprint T5 iron just to actually, funny for him, increase his gapping. His Blueprint S5 iron was spinning a little too much, getting too close to his Blueprint T6 iron, so his gapping wasn't as clean as he wanted. So he's been testing a Blueprint T5 iron that might make the bag. I think that gap got a little more exposed when he put in his IDI 4 iron. That IDI 4 iron, obviously higher launch, still good spin, a little more ball speed, so that pushes that gap a little farther. So he's started to notice his 5 iron not going far enough. So that might make the bag. You did the Finau stuff with Dylan on the putter, which is pretty cool. And then Wyndham Clark, not Stafford, but he might put in he's been playing our 3-wood, he might put in our 4-wood this week. Just similar, just a better option for his distance off the tee this week is what it sounds like. So. And
last question, what have guys been saying about the greens this week?
That they are definitely firmer than they've played in the past, but surprisingly soft. Some players thought surprisingly soft for only being whatever they are old, 12 months or whatever we are on. I'm not sure when they actually did them, but guys definitely firmer than they have been, but a little bit surprisingly soft for how new they are and being reviewed, obviously.
Okay. Can we expect the bucket hat next week? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
Bucket hat through Atlanta. Napa, we might go back to the normal lid.
Awesome. Appreciate you as always, Kale.
See you, Toasty.
Of course, we had to get a look at the thriver for ourselves out on the range. In TaylorMade news, we saw a few different alignment line offerings on their ZT putters. And a new Logan Olson 1.5 model. And then we got an in-hand look at Colin Morikawa's new milled grind 5 wedges, including a 50 degree and a 56 degree. Then, during the Wednesday Pro-Am, we got a glimpse into NBA legend Penny Hardaway's awesome club setup. And his custom Bettinardi putter. We also took a look at Justin Rose's ever-evolving iron setup. Chris Gotterup's bag. Ricky Fowler's fresh Cobra wedge. And Mizuno's new tour truck. Look out in the future for a tour inside the truck. Taking a quick food break, we had to dig into some Memphis-style barbecue for ourselves, brought to you by Rendezvous.
Craig, what do we got here?
Rendezvous barbecue, best out of a couple of Throw one more on there. We got it. Appreciate it. Thank you. We always appreciate it all.
After washing our hands, we then checked out this new Seymour Tour prototype putter. Superstroke's new 100-year lambkin grips. And last but certainly not least, we got some great in-hand footage of Taylor Pendrith's new Strixon mini driver, and Hideki's version, equipped with his preferred orange graphite-designed Tour AD shaft. In your opinion, which company is making the best mini driver on the market these days? Leave your answer down in the comments below. And with that, unfortunately, we say goodbye to the 2025 FedEx St. Jude Championship at TPC Southwind in Memphis. We'll see you next time on GolfWRX.com's video series, Inside the Ropes.